August, Wednesday. So today's just the start of August, so I missed writing this for about 8 to 9 days, and a lot's happened since then, so I'll try to catch you up onto it. July, Monday. Okay, so to recap from the last journal, this key was a 292 key we had in Soak Central, and Mom said I needed to give it back to them. Now, I tried telling her that the key has probably been replaced months ago, and our stuff has likely been kept by authorities or even stolen by some creepy old guy, but she just wouldn't budge. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Remember to take care of Manny while me and Greg are gone, because if you don't, I'll ground you until you're legally adult. Anyways, once we actually got there, we returned the key to the receptionist, and turns out the locker we had has actually been locked for months, and nobody get the stuff out. So, luckily for us, our stuff hasn't been stolen yet. However, after we got our stuff back, we just went home immediately after that, which was a total bummer, considering the first thing I really needed today was a nap. And a nap inside a pool sounded awesome. And it was an annoying car ride as well because Mom always has to make every trip we have educational, with this time being about how I shouldn't steal, which made sure that Mom has clearly forgot the last time we've been here, which was surprising as once we got home, Rodrick messed up the house again, which, to be fair, was less surprising and more to be expected, actually. However, Mom wanted all of us to clean, including Manny. But the problem is, how the biscuits is Manny supposed to clean up? Unfortunately, he made an excuse. I'm only 3. However, this time, Mom didn't cut it, because he was actually 4 now, meaning that for some reason, he needed to start doing work for the family this time. But Matt just left crying to his room, and yeah, Mom wasn't happy to say the least. Why? Sorry, Manny, but with me having to look after you guys alone, I need you guys to help me out a little, and I think you're getting too old to be babied all the time. I don't want to. Anyways, after we finished, I just went to bed, take a quick nap to, just catch up on some sleep. That was until I got woken up by Rodrick, who was trying to unlock the door before Mom saw. But once she got home, the door just wouldn't budge. So he quickly went to Dad's room just outside the bathroom. That was until Mom was shouting on the top of her lungs. Rodrick! Did you lock this door without my permission? So, yeah, another lecture later, and Mom gave his paper to Rodrick, which Rodrick will answer some questions Mom wrote on. And, let's just say, Rodrick didn't exactly give the best answers. Okay, fine, Mom, I'll do your stupid thing. Okay, did this telling off make you more responsible telling the truth? Not really. Have you learned anything from locking the door without my permission? Yeah, well, you can shout loudly, to be honest. Do you have to say anything to me after that? I'm sorry, women. And, from now on, you can no longer lock the bathroom door without my permission. Is that okay with you? Well, if I didn't, I'd get shouted at, so yeah, I guess. Okay! Finally! I'm finally done, Mom. Oh, that's good to hear, sweetie. I'll just check on this and you'll be on your... And yeah, to no one's surprise, she didn't exactly like what he wrote, so yeah. Then came another lecture. Yep, Mom is just as persuasive of getting Roger to be what Mom thinks Roger has to be. And then their argument between those two commenced, and Mom seems to argue with everything wrong, doesn't she? Now, I heard that Manny was going for a dump during the time that Rodrick and Mom argued, and I was in my room taking a nap for whatever reason when all of a sudden Rodrick punched Mom hard in the face, and after that he just left in his van without saying a word. Come on, Mom. I'm getting sick of hearing the same lecture 50 times. I already got the point forward. I just can't convey it back to you. No, Rodrick, you haven't proven to me that you've understood everything I've ever said to you today. So, I think I need to explain to you one more time. I'm getting sick of hearing your stupid fucking voice. Oh yeah, and by the way, I only woke up because of my alarm, not the punching or even the fall Mom made. I think that was only a coincidence. Anyways, after a while, making sure Rodgers left, I went to Mom's room to check if she's alright, and I noticed right away that Mom has broken glasses and a bit of pink eye. So I asked her if she was okay, and she said it'll be alright for now. Although she did thank me for checking up on her. But even then, I'm still worried about her. Listen, Greg, I know you're worried about me, but I'm fine. And after Rodrick punched me, I realized that perhaps I was pressing him a bit too far. Oh, that's good, Mom. Look, I'm sorry I didn't try to protect you from Rodrick. I should have done better, and you can just stay here. I'll look after Manny for the rest of the day. See you, Mom. Wait, Greg, before you go, thank you for checking up on me. It actually really does mean a lot. After that, I checked on Manny in his room, who was playing with his Generation X collection with his imaginary friend, Johnny Cheddar. And I asked him if he was okay with the, entire situation. And luckily for me, he and Johnny were doing just fine. Tuesday. Well, nothing much has happened on here, but since I have a 500-word essay complete as summer homework, I think this would be a chance to extend. Anyways, Mom has gotten these new glasses that look exactly like her older glasses, and Mom told me all about it. And to be honest, I was just glad that Roger wasn't here to hear all the blabbering Mom had to say. Hey guys, I got new glasses today! And even better, they were the new model. But really though, it was just the average day for me. I mean, I had lunch, I had dinner, I had my amazing bubble bath. And yeah, it was pretty much just a normal day for me. Wednesday. So yeah, Tuesday was just that uninteresting that I completely forgot the whole extend the page thing I was going for. And especially compared to today, Tuesday was nothing, as Rodrick came back today. Roger apologized for what happened, mostly for the motivation from the other loaded diaper band members, and Mom just kept her mouth shut and didn't even say a word. Anyways, after that, me and Mag decided to watch whatever was on TV, and I heard the news comes on after whatever this is, so I just glued myself to the screen and just watched. When all of a sudden, Rowley called, and I wasn't really in the mood for Rowley's business since I was to bond with Manny today, so I just distracted him and just hung up. Wait, oh, Rowley, look, an eagle! Where? Sorry for that, Manny. It was Rowley. He was being really annoying. But now we get... Wait, Manny? What? Where are you? Yeah, to my surprise, Manny was on the couch as I hung up. And that's because he was actually apologizing to Rodrick for putting that message on my door. And it took over an hour for him to clean that up. And if you're wondering why he had to clean that up despite Manny doing that, well, Manny may have kind of framed Rodrick into, looking like he did it, even though it was pretty obvious as Manny. So, yeah. Oh, and if you're wondering, it was the same toy I had when Manny said sorry to me. I'm sorry, Rodrick, for saying you suck on Bubby's door, and also for trying to flame you for doing that. Here's my apology gift. Aw, good job, Manny, for being honest and admitting your mistakes. Now, Rodrick, take Manny's gift and accept his apology. And yeah, he just took it and left. Nothing surprising, really, and not even a reply. But that's Rodrick if I've ever seen him, right? First day. Well, Manny woke me up first thing around 8:30 to tell me about something. He said that he wanted to share a secret with me. So, the bonding relationships at hand, I listened. And he told me that he's been stealing Rodrick's mom bucks from his room and has been saving it up to buy me a new journal, and that was actually pretty nice of him. But I don't know if Roger will ever forgive him if he steals stuff from him. I mean, who would? Oh yeah, and by the way, that journal is about $5, which doesn't seem like much, but you just need to remember that a penny is worth one singular mom buck. So that means Manny has to collect 500 of those things to be able to afford it. And, whew, getting some mom bucks is harder than you think. And also, Roger keeps going on about how mom bucks is such a stupid thing as well. During those times, when he's not on his drums. So, I guess he wouldn't really mind much if Maddie took some. Anyways, I decided to go to Riley's house today because it was unusually cold outside, and man, I really wanted to play some Twisted Wizard Infinity with him. And also, Manny wants to play Magic and Monsters with Riley's parents. So we both headed out to Riley's house together. That was until we suddenly saw Alex Aruda just walking down the street, just randomly, well, there. So I asked him why he was here in the first place, and he said he moved here from Swanscott, which Journey was moved near. One of those beaches near Northern Massachusetts. Then, afterwards, me and Alex started a conversation about Journey, and what I think was most interesting was that he and Journey were actually related. And there was this legend in the 18th century about two kids named Aruda and Robert, in which a wizard gave him a curse with the exact same last names, like Aruda or Robert Roberts. And when two sisters saw this legend, they both got married to these men with that surname. And the legend just stuck around to this very day. Alex then said afterwards to research in my own time and just continue on like nothing happened. So me and Manny just continued on to Riley's house. However, when we got there, Riley's mom, Mrs. Jefferson, told me that Riley was having a moment, so he couldn't play along with us. Sorry, Greg and Manny, but Riley's having let's just call it a moment for now, so I'd really appreciate if you guys would leave. Oh, okay. Well, just tell Riley I said hi. Come on, Manny, let's go home. Oh, okay, Bobby. Yeah, it was a total bummer for me, especially because we were so close to finishing the Cub achievement on Twisted Wizard Infinity, which I've been waiting to complete ever since day one. Manny was fine, although he was sad that they didn't complete his third Magic and Monsters game in like, what, 5 hours? Oh, and Mom and Rod are also doing fine. No noise coming from their blabbering or anything. Rodrick also said on Saturday that he's going to a live tour on unpopular bands like Loaded Diaper in hopes of getting actual money, and to be honest, I actually hope he succeeds because then he gets some real cash for us. And I don't have any more space on this page, so Thursday. Well, Roderick has spoken up much during breakfast, but what he did say was that Ploopy had a really inappropriate meaning, and in front of Manny too. And I mean, I was interested on these dollar bills that randomly appeared in my pocket for some reason, but I definitely heard what he said. Well, guys, I did some research and I found out that Ploopy actually means Wait a minute. Well, that means that touching his Ploopy can actually mean something, and not in a good sense. Anyways, I went down to Rally's again to see if he's having a moment or not. He wasn't really, and the thing is that Rally actually has epilepsy, and I know it's because we had to talk about it during recess. Hey Greg, can I talk to you about something? Sure, Rally. What is it? Well, you see, Greg, the thing is, I have epilepsy. Wait, Rally, are you serious? Yeah, but don't tell anyone else, though. I don't want to be embarrassed by people finding out. Sure, Rally. I promise I won't tell anyone. What even is epilepsy? You know, I actually think that might have something to do with it, but I don't really know for sure. Anyways, I finally beat that Cold achievement on Twisted Wizard 3, and now to get that Platinum Trophy. You see, you get it when you get all of the achievements, and man, I'm excited to get that. Also, Manny came over too, mainly to finish his third Magic and Monsters game with Rowley's parents. You know, there seems to be a pattern here, but I'm not sure myself. Anyways, when I got outside, it was pretty rainy and foggy as well, so I borrowed Mr. Jefferson's childhood raincoat so I wouldn't get wet. However, I didn't see where I was going, resulting in me getting lost. And on the way back home, I even saw Mr. Warren's kids outside playing whatever, even though it's raining and stuff. Anyways, I got to my house after dinner was just finished, and to be honest, I didn't really miss much. I mean, Roderick didn't say much during dinner and just decided to go practice his new Load Diaper song again, and that wasn't really surprised, considering that he has some sort of concert to go to. Friday. Well, Roderick has been practicing his song when not eating, which is good because I could just let Mom have the TV while me and Manny go down to rallies together. But because of the moment he had before, he was really scared to play Twisted Wizard Infinity with me. And I mean, it was fine for a few hours, but then something flashed on the screen, some sort of impact flash. And then Raleigh started to act all weird.
Well, kid, you left me no choice, and here's my ultimate attack. Solar Flare!
And when that happened, Mr. Jefferson wanted to see what was going on. And when he saw what happened, he moved me out of the room, forcefully too, and called Mrs. Jefferson over.
Raleigh, it's okay now, it's okay. Me and your mom are here. Linda, go get a pillow. Okay, just calm down. Calm down.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't have a single clue what was going on, so I just went to the bathroom and read a comic or something to, forget about the whole situation if it managed to last short. However, it was occupied with Manny, so I just went downstairs and enjoyed myself. However, despite that though, I still couldn't block off that moment Riley was having. I mean, they were also asking weird questions like, who am I and are you okay? Which were pretty stupid at times, but I didn't complain. Anyway, when I got down to watch TV, waiting for the bathroom to open, I realized the TV wouldn't come on. And that's when I recognized the crack at the bottom left corner of the screen. Oh, that's why it's not working.
Well, at least I only have Riley to blame this time.
Anyways, it was about 5 minutes till Manny finally came out of the bathroom, and by then I just got my nose glued comic book, whilst Manny just continued to play Magic and Monsters with his two imaginary friends, Charlie Tribbles and Johnny Cheddar. Also, Mr. Jefferson managed to find a turn off flashing effects setting on the game, and I just thank God he didn't steal it away from him just because it had flashing imagery. Anyways, once we got home, which was about 3 to 4 hours before dinner, Mrs. Jefferson actually called Mom about how me and Manny were being very sensible about the whole epilepsy situation with Rowley, and to be honest, I didn't even have a clue what was going on back then and was more confused and panicky, if anything. But still, Mom congratulated both of us with about 150 Mom bucks, which was like $1.50 and can buy at most some of those squishy toys Joey, one of Manny's imaginary friends, seems to like, or almost everything off of Dollar Tree. One of those websites that give you stuff for only $1 or $2. Saturday. Today's the unpopular band's concert. However, Rodrick didn't want to come, although I have been waiting to go ever since he announced it. Try to get my cash in early. So, I guess that sucks. Hey guys, let's get ready for the...
No, you are not coming. I already put the tickets down last week, and I'm old enough to make my own decisions, Mom. I don't need that bullshit anymore.
Oh, okay, if that's how you feel. I just want us to support you, Rodrick.
Yeah, well, you can support me by respecting my decisions.
So yeah, basically, I couldn't come, and Mom had to take care of the house for a while, which means more chores for me. And I think Manny's well, if he doesn't fuss like last time. And to be honest, it wasn't any different from yesterday, really, just without Rodrick, so it was actually much more soothing. Hell, I even managed to have my bubble bath twice! One in the morning and one in the evening. Oh, it was so worth it. And Mom has become even more joyful since Rodrick left, possibly because Rodrick isn't there to complain about whatever Mom does anymore. And Mom is only happy if we're happy. Almost anyway. But, whatever. Anyways, Rodrick left a few minutes ago, when he finished lunch. And it was about 2 hours before Mom called us downstairs. She wanted us to do some family bonding while Rodrick was gone. But really, the whole family bonding thing is just a do chores together thing. Hey Greg, can you help Manny and I pick up the groceries, please? Sure thing, Mom. Perfect, and oh, I just realized I have to do something important in the house. You and Manny can just pick up the groceries by yourselves. It'll be good family bonding. What? Family bonding? Wait, Mom! Some of these groceries are bigger than Manny's. This isn't fair. So yeah, basically me and Manny did chores all day, though I'll admit, Manny did a lot better than I expected. Anyways, after we were finally done, I just decided to take a nap while Manny's imaginary friends played with his Generation X cards again in his room. But when I took my nap, I just felt like it was too quiet. Then I realized why. You see, Rodrick wasn't banging his drums anymore, which I think I got used to over the days, and now it just feels a little too quiet. So then I plugged in one of Rodrick's heavy metal recordings on the speakers, and this time I checked if the headphones were plugged in, before Mom pulled a dad move on me again. I don't want to have that happen again. And yeah, it kind of had me on a vibe I didn't really understand before.
so much of a vibe that I completely forgot my nap entirely and just listened for the entire album. And let me tell you now, the album was fire.
However, once I got to the second to last track, Mom shouted at the top of her lungs, saying, "My boy's on TV!" So yeah, it turns out that unpopular band concert thingy would be on TV, and Mom was ecstatic about it, which was weird because Rod told me that when I got mentioned on the TV one time, Mom wasn't happy. So when I asked Mom if she was actually mad at me for being on TV, it turns out she had no flipping clue, no matter how much I explained. Hey Mom, why are you so happy about Roger being on TV when I got mentioned my journey, you weren't happy? Greg, sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about. Well, when my friend Journey left school, he talked about how good of a friend I was. And you were mad. Greg, I still don't understand what you're talking about right now. What? But Rod told me that... Oh, Rodrick. You know what, Mom? Never mind. Anyways, after about 5 minutes, I just gave up watching the performance and just went to the bathroom where I could read comics about whatever I wanted. Oh yeah, and when Mom went downstairs, she missed the entirety of Roderick's performance, but let's be honest here, she didn't exactly miss much. But after that whole experience today, I just dozed off. Well, once I got comfy in bed at least. Sunday. So, Roderick came back today, and the reason why he didn't come back on Saturday was because he and everyone else in the concert had to stay and sleep there because some criminals locked them in and stole the keys to open the door while nobody was looking. Luckily, though, the police was called soon after and ended up freeing them. Oh yeah, Roy also got a new tattoo of Hood Divers logo, though Mom wasn't too impressed.
So, Mom, what do you think? Pretty cool, right?
What? A tattoo? Really?
Hey! I gotta celebrate somehow.
Also, apparently, whilst I was talking to Roderick in my turn for the bathroom, he told me that those criminals who locked him in were the same dudes who forced Rowley to eat the cheese. Oh, and also, he said he actually saw Rowley eat the cheese, and each time he sees a slice of cheese, he gets all queasy because of it. Oh yeah, speaking of Rowley, actually, I want to go to Rowley's that day, but because my mom suspects something is up, with me going to Rowley's all the time with Manny, she says I need to help around the house more often. I mean, she says the house looks messier than usual, even though, nothing has changed. Well, Greg, I'm sorry, but you can't go to Rowley's until you help around the house. What? Mom, the house is basically spotless. Nope, I'm not hearing all of that. Either you're gonna clean this house up as I asked, or you're gonna be grounded for a long time, young Gregory. So, yeah, I ended up having to clean the whole house all over again. And, well, after that whole thing, I was just so tired that I just took a nap and just dealt with it. Oh yeah, I also forgot to tell you that it was pretty cold downstairs, and I was just glad I was in the warmth once again. However, I didn't sleep through the whole day as Mom called me down for dinner at 7:30, and we ate mac and cheese tonight because, sadly, we couldn't save enough for Drummies yet. And although mac and cheese is nice, I just want that lovely, juicy taste of Drummies again, especially as they remind me of Journey's big achievement. Oh, I still miss that guy. Monday. Mom's suspicious about Dad. I mean, Dad's been gone for quite a while now, and it was only until now Mom noticed. Also, we couldn't have any breakfast since we didn't have any cereal in the fridge, so Mom just cooked some burgers and just called it a day. After that, I decided to play with Manny, to see what he's up to, and he was playing with Danny's trucks, even though they didn't even move at all, but Manny thought it was fun to look at though. It was just load nothing. Well, until this happened. What? So yeah, the truck just moved out of nowhere, and I was really wondering if ghosts were real, or maybe it was just a wind, or even if Manny's imaginary friend was actually real. And man, I was so confused as heck about it. So I just left to watch TV to, get my mind out of it. But when I did, however, Roger got the TV first, so I just played some Twisted Wizard Infinity before dinner. However, I ended up losing my 126 winning streak because of my trash teammates who probably needed a game or something. The selection is random in this game, so there's a big chance of you getting trash teammates, which is what I got. It was so unfair. Ammo, come on. What the hell, man? You're full. I needed that more than you. Your class basically has infinite ammo. Why are you taking the ammo? You're such a noob. And yeah, it was like that for a long while. These garbage teammates. Up until Mom called me for dinner mid-game. So I had to close the servers off. Especially since I couldn't handle another trash group like that again. And especially the lovely taste of drummies bringing me back to the good old days. I mean, they really do. Oh, man, they're so tasty, yeah. Tuesday. Now is the time that they finally filed a case against those teenagers. Although it was pretty obvious. And the reason I even found this out in the first place is because of a Daily Herald. Oh, look, the news! The Daily Herald. Unpopular band criminal case finally reported. Wait, is that mean Rowley? And, it's about those teenagers that... Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's read. 3 teenagers in prison for false imprisonment and stealing. After a good while, we finally dropped the case that Kyle Robertson, Paul Smith, and Ivan Polatsky have been imprisoned for life in maximum security? Okay, that's a bit excessive, but honestly, they kind of deserve it, especially since they're being dickheads to literal children. Anyways, for false imprisonment of contestants and staff in charge of the Unpopular Bands Concert Company, the manager, Boris Poralski, says, "How could my own son do this? I thought he loved me." Huh. Neat. I actually ended up reading the article for quite a while. I mean, it's really good to know that those teens were finally brought to justice, especially for what they did to Rowley. I don't think he's been the same ever since. Also, today, it was actually also my birthday, and for all I remember, it was kind of boring from the others. I mean, I turned 14 today, and it wasn't really special. Well, apart from Brenda and Manny, which I'll get to later on. Wow, a birthday note. Okay, let's see what it says. A special greeting and a how do you do for a special nephew. By golly, that's you. Happy birthday, Aunt Brenda. Wow, Aunt Brenda, this is really neat. I saw it in the store. I knew it was just perfect. Yeah. It would have also been better if I had some money in it, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? And anyway, most of the presents I got for my birthday were rather things I got already and what seems to be years ago, or some little kid stuff I was gonna give to Manny. And I try to be enthusiastic though, but it didn't last long enough. Alright, Greg, here's my gift. Oh, thanks, Mom. I'll open it right away. Mom, I had this before. I gave this to Manny last week. Remember? Oh, my bad. Hey, it's the thought that counts, right? I mean, it is my birthday technically. I only get one a year, but hey, at least you tried. Yeah, I was not kidding when I said this is one of the most disappointing birthdays ever. And hell, I didn't even want the cake either. I just ended up giving it to Raleigh because I really didn't like pistachio. Oh yeah, when he arrived, Raleigh actually gave me a gift I actually wanted. And that was these headphone-looking things used to block off any noise. And this was great news for me because now I can take my naps no problem without hearing Rodrick's drums or Manny's crying. Or at least lower the volume of it anyway. I mean, they are really loud. Also, when Manny went to my room, I took my headphones off and he ended up giving me a journal I actually wanted. And I think I remember him giving it to me during my snack time around 5:30. So I just told him to leave it in my room and I'll pay him for it later. Bobby, I got you a journal for your birthday. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy right now. Can you just leave it in my room? I'll pay you later. Yeah. Okay, Bobby. Yeah, I haven't paid him to this day, and I don't really know how long it would take until Manny notices, if he does at all. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure he just wanted to give it to me as a gift. I don't even know why I said that. I guess I was just that distracted, huh? Wednesday. Okay, so I know it was stopped here by now, but there was so much to cover and there was so much to recap on as well. But it's just my hands start hurting 12 pages in. So I decided to sketch out my drawing beforehand so my black pen wouldn't run out of ink. Oh yeah, speaking of pens, I got a new set of those buggers from Yukushima again. I guess she's back to it again, isn't she? Also, when I got started writing this, I realized that Manny did mistake a journal for a diary, just like how Mom always does. But I wouldn't really complain much. I mean, hey, it's better than nothing. Anyway, Mom has realized now that Dad's been gone for a long while now, and Mom wants to see if he's alright. So she decided to put Rodrick in charge and left. And yeah, with Rodrick running the house, it is not a really good idea. Anyways, after Mom left, the first few minutes were actually finds handy. I mean, it was pretty obvious from the start that Rodrick don't have a repeat of last year, so he just told us to visit Raleigh for a few hours so me and Maddie wouldn't get on his nerves. So I guess you're in charge now. What, do you want us to clean the... Listen, just get the Raleighs and be out of my way, alright? I don't want to repeat from last time. Oh, and take Manny with you as well. I don't want to babysit that bugger. Also, Manny was being surprisingly positive today, since he actually got business going up to buy me more stuff since my birthday ended, and I just gotta say, how nice of him, really. Anyways, to literally no one's surprise, Roger decided to call his friends to invite them to the party you're gonna have while we're gone, and yeah, this definitely is gonna go well at this rate. Bill ended up coming out the earliest out of everyone, which was like 10 minutes in because we were getting dressed to go to rallies for what seemed to be some time and we ended up bumping into him. Yo, morning little bros. Anyways, once we actually got to rallies, we noticed that Raleigh and even his parents weren't even in the house at all, which was pretty strange because Raleigh was always in the house at summer for some reason. So I called Raleigh up and he said he was at a Dude Free concert and said that the concert started and that he can't wait to hear them sing. So because of that, I had to go to my other friend's house, and Christopher Brownfield was my first option, but unfortunately he's in some beach in New York with his parents, so yeah, that was out of question. And my second option was Shirag, which ended up working perfectly, at least after his dad left for work. Oh yeah, he also told me that he needed to work on the co-op achievement for Twisted Wizard Infinity, which he only got yesterday. So we got on and just played. Oh yeah, and if you were wondering about Manny, well, he just went downstairs and ate some other gummies from Mr. Gupta's room that he usually hides from Shrog. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't notice, because he probably won't be too happy about that.
It's a good thing to halal, Manny. I mean, I can't even imagine what eating pig gelatin would even be like.
Anyways, we had to Shirog's because the Twisted Wizard Infinity achievement just took hours to complete. And for dinner, we had what I think was called Kadichi, National Edition Indie or something, and man, it was really good. However, though, Matty didn't eat it all, or even tried it. He says because he didn't like the texture and he just straight refused to eat it. So he just gave his to Shirag and called it a day. Anyways, once me and Shirag finished, we got back to playing video games again. And after a while, I played a few more rounds of Twisted Wizard Infinity, and even got to the Co-op 2 achievement. However, it was getting late, and Mr. Gupta was coming back from work, so Mrs. Gupta told us to leave, and so we did. However, he'd find out about the gummies quicker than expected, so Manny ran away since he was the one who ate them, while I just watched the drama happen between the three.
Chirag, did you eat those gummies without my permission? Again? I thought I told you last time, those gummies are the only thing I look forward to when I come back from work, and now they're gone! I am so angry right now!
But after a while, I got bored of listening and decided to head home with Manny, and it was going pretty well. However, though, Manny's legs were feeling tired halfway there, and he was just non-stop complaining about it for about a minute or two, so I had to give him a piggyback on the way home. And yeah, I was doing this while I was waiting for the cars to go past, and yeah, it was about 5 minutes for the traffic to go. And maybe it's because there was a car crash nearby, and I swear that thing has gone on the news by that point. Anyways, while heading home, I decided to go to Riley's house because I wondered what he was up to, or if he was even back at all, and turns out he was. And I went to Riley's bedroom to have a little talk with him. Riley, so you went to a Dude Free concert, right? So what, is Joshy not your thing anymore? Greg, just because I went to a Dude Free concert doesn't mean I'm obsessed over them. Especially since I'd never obsess something over Joshy. Joshy's my main man, and you know it. So, turns out, he actually wasn't obsessed over that loaded diaper ripoff, and thankfully too. Though he needed to watch some Joshy tapes to clear the quiet ringing in his ears, and after hearing that music, not gonna lie, I need to hear some Joshy too. So I decided to join Rally and listening to some Joshy, and the ones that showed up here in this page were played, as well as a few more. But I'm not too bothered to count. Anyways, Miss Jefferson had called to get through to the hospital for Riley's appointment, so Riley just quietly, while I just went to the bathroom for the sake of reading whatever Riley's diary, I mean journal had to offer. Anyways, after a while just playing Twisted Wizard Infinity for a long while, me and Mary decided to get going and actually go home this time, and it was about 8:30 when we came back, and yeah, it was a mess. Well, not as much as last time, but still, it was a mess either way. And, just like last time, we ended up having to clean out a party Rodrick had, which surprisingly took us about 20 minutes, which is a lot faster than usual, mainly because we had Manny help us all, at least for the most part anyway, because let's just say he got a little distracted sometimes. And after cleaning up and all that, I was just tired, so me and Manny went to bed while Rod just sat back on the couch doing whatever. Thursday and Friday. When I woke up this morning, I pretty much missed breakfast. Also, I had turkey today because Roger didn't cook anything else. And plus, there was a cereal shortage at our house. I also didn't have anything else to wear in time, so I just wore this fancy tie and just gone with it. And dinner is served. Rodrick, do you think you cooked that right? Look, I know I may have overcooked it a bit, but it's perfectly safe to eat. And plus, it's either this or nothing. Now eat already, you two. Also, I'm gonna try to keep it short and try not to draw any pictures because, man, my hand is hurting real bad. I mean, why else did I combine Thursday and Friday together? Anyways, Thursday was really just Wednesday, apart from the Dude Free concert and going to Shirag and all that other stuff. Friday, however, was far more interesting though, as today, the oven ran out of gas, so we couldn't cook anything. But luckily, Manny knew how to use the air fryer, which I didn't even know we had until then. Saturday. And that finally leads to today, as I've finally mastered copying my own handwriting on my left hand, so now my right hand hurts, I can use my left one to write. Also, now Roger knows how to use that air fryer thing after a few sessions with Manny, and now Roger can finally cook food with ease and can feed us actual well-cooked food for once, which was about time. Also, it has been a long day today, and since I'm not really in the mood to draw much, I'll just practice drawing some stuff here for now, and plus, if I have any spare time on my hands, which isn't likely considering my other hobbies like Twisted Wizard Infinity, I'll draw an object or two in this book, so wish me luck, I guess. Sunday. Well, this is the first entry in this book that's actually on time this time, as the rest of the pages here are all filled with entries that I wrote a day or two after events. Also, I noticed that I actually sleep better now, so maybe drawing really is the best way to get me to sleep after all. Anyway, my right hand has been feeling better than usual. Also, Roger just told me to leave that thing alone and left, which... thanks for the advice, it was kind of obvious. Anyways, I left to see Rowley to see what he was up to, mostly because Roy wasn't really helping much and Manny was yet to wake up. And I found Rowley walking up to the road to see me, and he stopped and screamed at some dogs that were tiny. They were actually kind of cute as well. Jeez! What a scaredy cat, really?
Ah! Greg, quickly, save me! Ah, they're gonna eat me!
Wait, you mean these dogs?
Yes, these ones! They may look kinda cute, but don't be fooled by appearances. They are vicious animals!
Right. Look, I think the best solution for us is if we head back home to get away from these vicious animals, you know?
Yes, that's a good idea, Greg. Okay, let's hold on right now, come on!
It was a while until Riley stopped thinking about those small dogs, and by that time, Manny had woken up, gotten dressed, and basically did all his morning routines. Also, I decided to go to the bathroom when I saw one of those Christmas cards on one of the stools nobody really uses. And I also invited Riley to join me, and he actually agreed. So we flushed them down the toilet, and it was pretty awesome. Greg, do you really think this will work? I mean, what if it clogs the toilet? Oh, Riley, don't be absurd. It's not like I'm flushing Orbeez down the toilet. Besides, it's paper, and we wipe with toilet paper. So it should basically break down with no problem. At least, I hope. But we won't know until we try. Yep, I was right. It looks like it's going down well, and you know what? I think we should keep the rest of him, just in case we ever run out of toilet paper. And after that, we just played some Twisted Wizard Infinity, stopped for lunch, played more Twisted Wizard Infinity, stopped at dinner. However, by that time, Raleigh had to go back home for his appointment, so we exchanged goodbyes and he left. Also, unsurprisingly, dinner wasn't really all that great. But hey, it was actually edible this time, so that's something. Oh, and it's been the second day of drawing this, and I have to say, it's really improved my sleeping schedule really well, because just like free objects can just knock me out in ease. I mean, I almost had no trouble going to sleep that night. Monday. Breakfast was surprisingly not that bad, but it could have been better. Anyways, once I actually woke up, I went to rallies with Manny once again to play Twisted with Infinity to try to finally achieve that platinum trophy, and surprisingly, today was actually a day that we finally achieved that trophy! Come on, he's one shot in!
Oh my god. Yes. I know, yes. Yes, that's right, audience. We actually got the platinum trophy.
Yeah, Raleigh, we finally got the Wait, audience? What? Yeah, so apparently, Raleigh was streaming on this small streaming website called Blitz. You know, the first site Digby streamed on. Also, Raleigh says he's going to post it on YouTube and potentially become famous. And to be honest, I didn't really like the idea of Raleigh becoming famous, because as soon as he does, he's gonna immediately betray me. I mean, he always does this, like with Zoe Mama. So, we made Pinky swear that I'd be credited as well, and hopefully he actually means it this time. I really do, since we got the achievement together. Also, I decided to bring Raleigh's bag of journals with me, with consent, of course. I've learned my lesson already with looking in someone else's diary. Oh, so what was Manny doing, you ask? Well, to be honest, I'm not really sure. I guess he was reading one of my comics or something while taking a dump, but turns out I was wrong. Hi, Bobby! Oh yeah, it reminds me! I beat Hikaru on that chess website! Now, to be honest, I didn't even know what chess even was, let alone the rules of it, until Manny started explaining to me all the rules along the way, and yeah, it got really boring after a while, but I didn't really complain. And when we finally got home, which took a lot longer than usual because of Manny's ramblings, Manny started to feel anxious. And the reason why was that Dad answered the door. Damn, Rodrick, you're a lot faster than... Bobby, protect me! Hey guys. Hey Dad. I know you guys don't really want to see me right now because of what I did to Susan and Manny, so, look, just come to the kitchen, boys, and I'll explain everything there. Yeah, he said he has something big to tell us, and I don't really know how this makes me feel. Also, I'm writing this while in the bathroom, before Dad explains whatever, so I'll update when Dad is done. So, because it took about 30 minutes for him to explain everything, I'll try to summarize it as much as I can. Now, you're not going to believe me when I say this, but Dad's therapist turns out to be none other than Journey's dad, and he has been known for the luxury of his home. And, since Dad needed to stay somewhere to get away from the Heffleys, aka us, he ended up staying at Robert's for a bit, and he said the food was enjoyable and everything, but it missed that family charm Mom's cooking usually had. So yeah, he basically lived like that for a week and few days, and met and befriended all the family members did, and yeah, I'm almost undeniably jealous of him now. Also, I told Dad in the middle of a sentence, and in the next paragraph you'll see soon, that Mom wanted to see if he was alright and wanted to know if anything was about it. And turns out he did, as he told me that she got caught and somebody called the police for trespassing on private property without permission. And it was probably one of those guards protecting the mansion that Journey has. Anyway, about the paragraph I talked about before, once he was done with the mom talk, He said that he went to all sorts of places, like the forest he'd gone to during his childhood, or that Civil War battlefield place he wanted to go to during last year's road trip. Then, the next paragraph was about what was on the news currently, as Giles, who was Dad's childhood friend, mother had died recently of old age when she turned 98, and we're going to her funeral after dinner. Now, to be honest, I didn't really know her at all, and the only picture I had was the one I drew like 10 journals ago about, her spanking Dad, and yeah. But it would make Dad mad if I told him my honest feelings about it, so I just kept my mouth shut and he just moved on. Though I noticed that Dad was crying during all this, and I could actually see Manny patting on his thigh like he was trying to comfort him. And hell, I even noticed that Roderick shed little tears as well, although he was trying his best to hide it. So I called him out of it. Anyways, Dad said soon after that it was okay to hide them, just as long as you're not a bum about it. And after that, he left to the basement to set up the Civil War battlefield there, and probably get his mind off of Giles and his mom and everything. Also, back to informal mode now, so not as much writing and way more pictures. Anyway, after that, I went to my room to take a nap, and so did Rodrick. But not Manny, though. I think he played with his toy cars, and pretty sure he did with his imaginary friends again. Probably Danny, though I still wonder if they're real or not, considering that toy car movement. It still kind of freaks me out. Anyway, when I finally took that nap, however, I felt something. Once I turned to the side a bit, and I saw this thing on my pillow, and by the way, this is no joke. Yeah, so turns out Dad also had journals, even before I did. And it took place during when Manny was in Mom's belly. And after reading it, let's just say, I guess I can't have any more brothers anymore. Which, to be honest, is a huge relief because I think 3 is enough. Also, Dad wasn't able to make anything for us to eat since, the oven still out of gas. But luckily, though, Manny managed to cook some sort of dinner using the air fryer, and Dad thanked him for him and just went for his day. Anyway, I showed a journal I found at Dad during dinner, and he looked at me in a suspicious way, so I told him where I found it, and even then, he still looked at me weirdly, but he ended up believing me anyway. What? That thing? Greg, where did you find this? I don't know, Dad. I just found my room while I was taking my nap, which is weird because I never saw it before. He had a quick read of it, and although it turned some bad memories back, he realized how similar we were, having almost the exact same art style and handwriting. So we kept talking about it until someone knocked on the door. So Dad decided to answer it, and turns out it was Dad's childhood friend, Giles. Dad introduced him to me, Rodrick, and Manny. However, it was clear enough from first glance that Giles wasn't really in a good mood. Giles said that he wanted to talk to me for a moment in my room about something that he clearly wanted me to know about. Basically, the talk was about how I shouldn't be more in a rally and all that. However, it was actually kind of inspirational for me. I'll write down in case I need it most. However, only complaint though I have is that he did have sweaty palms and he did put one of those sweaty hands over my shoulder, which made me kind of uncomfortable. Though that speech took my mind off of it. Look, Greg, I wanted this off my chest ever since your father first mentioned about you, and from what I heard, you're trying to change, and I think it's for the best. The first thing I heard about you is about how sociopathic you first were, only believing in yourself and blaming everyone else for everything. And even though you were just trying to get all the trouble off your back, I don't appreciate that, and I'm just glad you're changing for the better. just keep moving forward, even if obstacles are in the way. And this is what I had to go through, and it wasn't fun. And although it wasn't fun, it's all worth it at the end. And hopefully one day, you'll understand that too, Greg. Once I wiped the sweat from my shoulders, the message hit me, and hard. I realized that I need to improve, not just for Manny, but for Raleigh too. If I could actually try to be a better person, instead of acting like the bad person I usually am, maybe, just maybe, people would actually like me. And even better, I could actually aim to be top of my class. So, the next thing I want to do when I get back to school is to be nice to everyone, instead of just sticking to being nice to Raleigh and a few others. Anyways, once he finished talking to me about what a neat message that was, I just let the words sink into the back of my mind and took a nice long nap. And after that nap, I went downstairs for dinner, and Manny gave Giles this little bag full of fruits in it, and I first noticed that it was the same lunch bag that Mom gave me like 2 years ago now. However, Giles wasn't all that hungry. Thanks, Manny, but I'm not hungry at the moment. Maybe give it to your father instead. He probably needs it more. Also, dinner wasn't all that special. It was just some spaghetti from the supermarket that, I'll admit, it doesn't look too bad. However, we had to use the air fryer because, like I said before, the gas in the oven wasn't working, and Dad couldn't afford the gas bills. And yeah, the air fried spaghetti felt a bit off, but I didn't complain much. I mean, at least it still had a hefty charm. Also, Rodrick tried to do a trick when the food was actually cold, but told me that he used the microwave to make it hot enough for me to actually enjoy it. Though it didn't work because the microwave was put out months ago! Careful, Greg, it's very hot. Rodrick, how'd you get that? Manny's the air fryer right now making more spaghetti, and I already clearly saw you eat yours. Air fryer, schmare fire. I heated this baby up the old-fashioned way, with the good old, easy-to-use microwave. I just put it in, clicked for 2 minutes, and it popped out fresh. And even better, it won't burn your tongue when you try to eat it. And considering how much of a good brother I am, I'm gonna give it to you, because, that's what a good brother would do, right? Rodrick, you know the microwave's been out for months. Huh? I fixed it, and then I fixed it, and then I fixed it to be used. You got me. After that, I decided to have my good old bubble bath, then doodle for a bit, and then just went to bed. Tuesday, I got woken up first thing in the morning by a loud honking sound. It must have been in God's room next to mine, and I could also hear Dad saying on how it sounded familiar to him at breakfast. Anyway, it was a while until my eyes got used to the lying downstairs, and once it did, I had some brighter nose and went for my day. Eventually, though, I went back to bed, trying to get back to sleep again, and it was at that moment when Dad saw a calendar and realized that the funeral had passed and we didn't go to it in time. And I actually heard Gauze crying, which definitely helped my sleep. Yeah. And after a while, I just gave up trying to sleep and went to the bathroom to read some of the pages of Raleigh's journals. Reading into it further, and damn, I noticed how abusive I was to him and how I should apologize to him about it. Yeah, going back, being nice might even be a good thing after all, but I'm not really quite sure how, though, because Twisted Wizard Infinity distracts me so easily. Oh yeah, I also don't really feel like drawing anything at the moment, mostly because of what happened today. So I went over to Raleigh's Manny for some time to see some little kids cry over us masters. Greg, I know I've been gone for a while, but why is Manny coming with you? Yeah, well, turns out Manny really likes tagging along with me when I head to Riley's to play some video games, because he has so much fun playing Magic and Monsters with his parents. Oh, alright, that's good. Just as long as Manny doesn't get kidnapped, alright? However, my plans were forced to change, as turns out Riley Brew's controller had a pure spite. I think it was something in the newspaper about a court case or something. I don't know. So yeah, we had to take turns using the controller. Greg, it's my turn now. Be quiet, Riley. It's only been like 10 minutes at most. Have you ever heard of waiting for your turn? Jeez. But I think I may have been actually wrong about that and have used it for a bit too long. And so I got telling off by Mr. Jefferson. And to be honest, I didn't really learn anything about it. But I had to give it to Raleigh the whole hour that I had to. But then again, I had already read the first half of Raleigh's first journal. Think, Greg, think! Anyway, an hour had finally passed, so I told Raleigh it was my turn. But Raleigh had his headphones on, so he didn't listen. So I said louder each time, but he just moved on. Yeah, he was probably in the middle of a match or something, so I went downstairs with Rowley's journals to check if Manny was alright. And while I was downstairs, I got myself a pack of croutons on Rowley's shelf and just watched Manny draw whatever on earth he wants.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on his farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O.
And after what seems to be a good while, Riley finally called me up for my turn, and I was really happy about it. I mean, it was about time till I had it, and it has been almost 2 hours since I started watching Manny draw for that much time. Greg! Dad says your turn on the FM box console now! Finally, it's about time. Though I won't lie, it was actually kind of entertaining watching Manny draw. However, though, I had to go on it for half the time Raleigh did, as a punishment for hogging it for too long. But in the next hour, however, an update was announced, which meant that Raleigh had to go through the update and miss his turn completely. And yeah, this would be really good because I would have more time on the game next turn. But Mr. Jefferson said that after updates, Raleigh would have the turn instead of me for the last few hours of my visit to Raleigh. But when I complained about it to Mr. Jefferson, he didn't exactly take it too well. Hey, I'm just trying to make it fair here. I mean, let's be honest here. It's Raleigh's fault the controller broke in the first place, and plus, I'm the guest here. Shouldn't I be getting special treatment? And yeah, he didn't exactly seem too convinced by what I said, so after I said that, Mr. Jefferson told us to leave, and so he did. And midway there, Manny took off his jacket because it was getting way too hot outside. Oh, yeah, and we also met Fregley again, and it was, let's just leave it to this drawing. Hey, Greg, long time no see. I mean, last time we talked, I was a bit down for my parents' divorce, but hey, I'm better now. I mean, especially since my mom now calls me Daddy every time we have intimacy. What? Yeah, it's as bad as it looks, and even worse, he keeps on talking about how he turned his mom into a slave and all that, and even thinking about it gives me the creepy vibes, and not the good ones either. Wednesday, I woke up really late this morning because it was a stroll to sleep thinking about that moment, and I was looking under my bed once I took a nap downstairs and I found this somewhere. It was a body blankie that I used to wear about like a year ago now, and it was so comfortable, It took about an hour until I took it off, and by then, it was cold, so I thought of wearing it all day. Although that would be complete bonkers, and if I actually did that, that would probably take it away again. This is the life. Sitting on a couch, watching TV, eating chips and rice. With the body blankie, nothing can top this. This is peak. Eventually, though, Dad told me to help do the chores with Manny since Roger just couldn't really be bothered to do them. And Manny seemed really excited to do it with me, so I guess I might as well do them if Manny's so keen. And after some effort, we got them done around 30 minutes into it. And after that, Manny asked me if I wanted to come to his room for a bit to play with his Generation X cards. And yeah, not knowing how to play, I politely said no and just moved on. And surprisingly, Manny just said alright and moved on too. And I'm just glad Manny didn't really throw a fit about it again. Anyway, when Giles went to a business meeting with Dad, I decided to his room and I noticed a little piece of paper lying on the desk. It must have meant something, so I checked it out and turns out it was something to do with getting a job or something. I don't exactly remember because the writing was a bit confusing. Anyways, once they finally came back, which was like, who knows how long, we had some fish and chips for dinner. Yeah, apparently it's a British cuisine and some of Gal's ancestors were English, so he'd appreciate it if we had that for dinner. Though, to be honest, I didn't really like it. At least Manny seemed to enjoy it, and Rodrick, to be honest, I think he'll eat literally anything as long as it's edible. Dad? What is this? Well, it was meant to be fish and chips, but the guys over there didn't have any chips somehow, so for now it's just fish. But hey, Giles will be getting the chips later, alright? Yeah, this is not good, and if this is what's considered the face of English food, I don't want to eat anything the UK makes. Anyways, after dinner, which I didn't really seem to enjoy much, it was about time until I finished the first journal of rallies, and by the next one's cover, it says to be some sort of adventure-styled journal. Yeah, it was pretty obvious from there that it wasn't even a journal and more like a storybook with me and Raleigh fit in. And even though we could barely call it a journal, I still worked on it. However, though, when I stood up, trying to get out of the bathroom, my legs just randomly went to sleep for no reason, and I ended up tripping on the floor. Oh, finally, I'm done. Okay, now to get up and... And after that, my left wrist has been hurting, and it's weird how recently my hands have gone in all sorts of painful situations. Anyways, my dad told me to get some rest and not to put too much pressure on my hand, and so I did. And ever since then, I was asleep. First day, I may have slept for too long yesterday, mostly to heal my wrist, but hey, at least my sleep schedule is back together again. Today we had toast for breakfast because the air fryer malfunctioned after Roger was being clumsy and tripped and knocked it over. Also, I noticed that Giles put beans on his toast. Yeah, it was pretty weird, according to my standards. So I asked him why he had beans on that thing, and he said that it was a British cuisine and, he likes British food. Yeah, like I said before, this type of thing is trash. Anyways, I just ate my plain toast without beans on it and went to Rowley's for a while. It was just like an average playthrough of yesterday's runs, but only this time, Rowley had first and it only lasts for an hour now, so I'll just thank Mr. Jefferson for not making Rowley's turn longer as a punishment for pissing him off. Also, Riley's console ran out of battery today, and damn, I didn't even know console could ever actually die, but turns out that Riley's console uses a huge battery that manages to fit inside there. Anyway, Riley is going on holiday soon, and he's going to a place in Britain or something. I don't know.
So that hopefully we have a hotel near the beach and
Okay, yeah. Wait. Hey, Riley, have you noticed this little locket down here? And when I mentioned the locket, he just completely changed the subject and focused on the locket. Hell, he was still talking about it all the way home as well, when he decided to tag along while his controller charges.
Ha! It was about time until we found that. You know, I was looking for that thing all day a few months ago, and I never knew it was there the whole time. Man, I feel so stupid now. Oh my god, the amount of hours spent wasting and all the bad power and...
But after about 3 minutes to what seems to be non-stop rambling, Riley started to get tired and stopped talking till the end of the trip. Dude. Huh? Sorry, Riley, what did you say? Oh, you're too tired to talk? Okay. About time! I didn't even think you'd even stop. Jeez. I get it, you're happy you found a locket, but you don't have to explain it for that long. But when we finally got to my house, he still gets the same greeting from Dad. Not your hello, just this.
Oh, hey, Greg's dad. It's good that you're back.
Basement's still off limits. You got that? Yes, sir. Anyways, me and Riley played some Twisted Wizard Infinity for what seems to be quite a while. That was until we got a call from Mr. Jefferson saying that Riley needs to come back for dinner. And so Riley left. But I mean, Riley should be fine walking away on his own, right? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, turns out I was wrong. So, okay, I'll tell you what happened. So, something flashed outside the house, and it made Riley go on an epileptic moment. And since I didn't even know what to do, so I ran over to Mr. Jefferson. I mean, he might know what to do. Okay. I mean, Mr. Jefferson, he told me to just to go away for a few minutes while they're gonna deal with Riley there. So I did. Anyways, okay, Mr. Jefferson's gonna handle Riley, so he's gonna be fine. Don't worry. Okay, back on topic. For dinner, I had fish and chips again, which it still was as bad as yesterday, but the day was pretty much normal after that. Friday. Dad's cousin Terrence came around first thing in the morning today to see what was going on and all that.
Hey, Greg. I've heard that you and Manny are bonding with each other again. Is this true? Because if so, that's great. I mean, I remember when I also bonded with my little brother. I mean, I used to hate him so much and figured he was an annoying brat, but hey, we grow up and change over time, and I guess you too as well.
You know, I can't say I disagree with him though. For basically a grown-up me, he seemed pretty positive, and if things went well for him and his little brother, and I guess that's the same with me and Manny in the future. Anyways, after a few bits of small talk, he went over at Dad and Girls to presumably talk them to death. Also, I found this picture of me and some other people throwing apps at Patty inside of Mom's secret closet. And after looking at this for a couple of seconds, it made me kind of glad that Fiend finally got what she rightfully deserved. Anyways, Terrence talked to Giles for a while about how the family's going and all that, and he left to check on his wife or something. However, he said something before going out, but I don't remember what he actually said though, so I won't draw as a picture because who knows how large of a speech bubble that would be. Also, there's no space for picture here, so I'll just say I went to Rowley's and moved on. However, though, when I actually got to Rowley's house, Mr. Jefferson said I couldn't come in, and that's because Rowley is still traumatized about that moment he had yesterday, and he'd recommend me to leave him alone for a couple more hours. Sorry, Greg, Rowley's having an existential crisis at the moment, so I don't think it's best if you see him right now, but, I know we never see eye to eye much, but, thanks for telling me about what happened to my son. I really appreciate what you did, and I guess I really was wrong about you. So, yeah, that was something. Sorry, it's just weird hearing Mr. Jefferson thank me. He always seems the type to hate me no matter what I did. Anyways, once I got home, I told Maddie the news, saying that we can't go to rallies for a few more hours because he's basically having an existential crisis currently, and he understands, as if life is already hard enough for him. He also decided to give me a few more journals in case this one runs out of pages too quick. And he told me he got the money from a fundraiser he did while me and Raleigh were at his house.
Hello? Would you like some crap you possibly don't need?
Oh, how precious. I'll take 10.
You know, I can't really say I hate him anymore, especially now that he's doing so much for me. I mean, man, it's really loyal of him to do that, really. Also, when I was looking inside journals for anything girly, because I hate girly stuff, I found this little craft drawings hidden in one of the journals somewhere at the end of them, and not gonna lie, they're pretty cute. And after looking at them for a while, I think I finally know what they mean. The top one is Manny making fun of Fregley. The middle right one is me hugging Manny. The middle left one is Manny holding an American flag. The bottom right one is pretty sure wacky dog writing, but it's really hard to read. And the bottom left one is obviously Rodrick, and from the way Manny draws him, it's pretty obvious he doesn't like him. Now, I distinctly remember somebody making a wacky dog comic before, but I don't think I remember who did it though. Also, do I feel bad for Fregley? I'm not sure. Actually, scratch that. After what he said to me, I just wish that Manny brought up his divorce again. Sorry, it's just... Anyway, about Rodrick, he stopped talking about mom bugs ever since Dad came along, and to be honest, I got used to the ramblings Rodrick always made when Mom was actually around. But to be fair to him, if he ever tried out with Dad, let's just say things won't exactly end well, and this time, Mom won't be there to bail him out. Hey Dad, I know something. While you were gone and Mom was here looking after the place, all Rodrick did was complain and whine. But now that she's gone and you're here, he's being kind of quiet. It's just so weird. Oh yeah, can I see someone on a phone or something, please? Maybe. But it really depends on who you want to see, Greg. Anyways, after dinner, I went to the bathroom because my, let's just say, Ploopy was feeling like it was going to burst. And after that, I decided to go to bed and get some early night sleep. Saturday. Well, last night didn't really go well. The Fergies were blasting music at a loud volume, so it was really hard to sleep. But eventually I did though, since I actually tried this time. Also, Rodrick isn't in a good mood since he's really tired, which, to be honest, I can't blame him. But for some reason, Dad still wonders why Rodrick isn't listening to him or something, even though we all heard the music last night. Anyway, we had Thanksgiving leftovers today because we couldn't really be bothered to cook anything, which I guess doesn't taste that bad, and I had too much of it, and hell, it's miles better than the British cuisine Giles gives us. Also, I was going to rallies for a few until Dad reminded me about the traumatization of rally, so he requested taking Maddie to the playground for a few instead, and do I even have a choice by that point? The only other person I know I could go to is, Fregley, yeah, it's off the table, and Chirag, who, with what's going on, what I heard from his parents, aren't exactly gonna let us back in. So I took Dad's advice and headed out there with Manny, and I noticed while heading to the playground through the forest, a tree that I used to hug back then, and yeah, brings back good times. Good times indeed. Anyways, when we finally got there, I got seated at a nearby bench and I just watched Manny play with whatever as I sat back and relaxed. And yeah, it was a slight weird experience as I never actually enjoyed nature before, but now that I think about it, it kind of makes me want to, explore it. I mean, I never got this feeling in my life, but I just feel so independent now. It just makes me appreciate that this kind of nature even exists in the first place. I just, I don't know why, but it just feels good. But after a while of just sitting there and loving what nature has to offer and all that jazz, I went home, sat down, and played some good old video games. The usual stuff. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, but the reason why me and Manny left so early was because of this random group of teenagers and possibly even adults just raided the place like nobody's business. They basically wrecked and spray painted everywhere, so now it's barely even recognizable. Also, once we got home, Gals already made dinner while Dad was gone, which was some weird looking popcorn that didn't exactly look appetizing. But I didn't want to hurt his feelings or anything, so I just ate it anyway.
I made your favorite, Greg. I know you love it.
Thanks, Giles. It looks pretty good. Is it another British cuisine of yours from Britain?
You know it, Greg. And I even put a little extra something in it to add the flavor. Dig in.
Right. I'll just grab one and have a little taste. Set up, try, and Yeah, it turns out it was actually pretty good. Well, apart from the extra toffee added onto it, but besides that, this is something I might eat regularly. This is probably the first thing Giles gave us that actually tastes edible. Anyways, I went to my room for a couple hours to get some energy because Rowley's controller has possibly been fully charged by now, and if I could manipulate Mr. Jefferson into thinking that Rowley had his turn last time, and then I'll have my turn early. So I went to Rowley's for a couple of hours because of that, and turns out Rowley's controller hasn't been charged at all since then. And I found out why. Because the switch was off. But for now, that wasn't an issue as I had perfectly manipulated Mr. Jefferson to thinking that Rowley had his turn last. So now, it was my turn. But my victory didn't last too long as turns out Rowley did remember that it was his turn last time, so yeah.
Greg, isn't it supposed to be my turn now?
What? No, don't you remember, Rowley? It's my turn now, remember? You know what, Greg? I'll give you a chance. I'll just assume that you honestly forgot that it was my turn. So, I ask you again, isn't it supposed to be my turn now? So, yeah, and with me trying to get told off by Mr. Jefferson for like the 50th time already, decided to give it to Rowley for a few. However, though, 45 minutes in, I told him that it was my turn now. And luckily for me, Rowley didn't have a watch or a clock in his room, and the only alarm clock was on his phone, and he couldn't even be bothered to check his phone, so he just let me have my turn, which was perfect. However, though, during my turn, Rowley accidentally spilled juice all over one of the corners of my book. So yeah, I'm gonna try avoid writing on the juice as much as possible. And crap. Well, the juice pad for the paper, which I guess is a problem. I don't think I'll be closing my book for a while after what happened. Anyway, after altering turns for a few hours, Mr. Jefferson got a call from the doctors, and after so, he told me to go home while Riley does a checkup at the hospital. And they're picking up Riley for whatever reason. And speaking of whatever reason, for some reason, Mrs. Jefferson wanted me to carry this bag home. And man, it was as heavy as Riley's feelings, and that's saying a lot considering when I look in there, I saw a bit of Riley's stuff in there, and it was still heavy though, jeez. Also, when I got home, it wasn't too far before dinner, so I just spent 15 minutes of it just sitting in my room, reading all my journals, just waiting for my dinner to be prepared. Also, before dinner, yes, I know it says after, but just ignore that. Okay, back on topic. Dad went to Rodrick room to solve his summer homework that Mom sent him for, like, no reason necessary. So, yeah, it's safe to say that Rodrick's system of getting Dad to do all of his work is still safe, but who knows how long it'll take until Dad just snaps. Also, that was when I decided to ask Rodrick something that I've been meaning to ask him for a while. Hi Rodrick, huh? Oh, it's you. What do you want now, Greg? So, I asked him about the whole under the bus thing, and if he'll actually do it, and he said this. Are you seriously wasting my time over this? Yes! You know what? Yes, I'll actually do that if you don't leave me the alone. So, yeah, that basically confirmed my fear, and after that whole situation about that, I just felt shaky and uncomfortable about that. But I'm sure a drawing of something like a teddy bear or something would fix that. I just had a few minutes thinking about what to even draw in the first place, though, so I'll be back later. Also, a couple more drawings later, and I'm back. I feel a lot better now, but still scary about the fact Rodrick would actually do that. Anyway, it was about time until we paid for the gas bill, but now the oven was finally working again, and today we had some good old burgers for dinner. Well, at least we planned to anyway, as the oven caught on fire. Man, I really outdid myself here. Come on, guys, dig in. I did the perfect top-of-the-line burgers and... Fire! Fire! We're all gonna die! We're all gonna die! Yep, it was until the beeping of a fire alarm that he finally noticed the large growing fire, and yeah, he didn't exactly take it too well and started to panic. But luckily, the fire didn't spread too much because Manny managed to extinguish it down before the fire actually got real bad, so I guess if it wasn't for Manny, maybe the whole house would have burnt down. Also, now we had to cook something else. So, yeah, sucks because I was really excited for those burgers. But, as if things couldn't get any more crazier, that was when Uncle Gary, of all people, came around to see what his older brother was doing. And yeah, Dad was dealing with a fire extinguisher, and since Giles wasn't home, Rodrick had to answer the door. And from the way he acted, it was clear that he was just 5 minutes into his nap. Hey, Rodrick, my man! How's life been? Did you finally get a... Just get in already. I'm not in the mood to deal with your bullcrap today. Anyways, Uncle Gary says businesses of Boston, bots and shirts are finally getting in some cash, and his weekly allowance might not need as much money anymore because of his business. Yeah, he said some guy wanted to buy Gary's business and for 75% of the income he got. And yeah, he was known for making the perfect advertisement, so it was obvious that he'd get loads of money off of just that alone. And since he let some random dude buy that business, that means that now he has more time to spend with his 37th wife and his 3 kids. And thanks to that, Uncle Gary managed to buy whatever dinner he wanted because of it. He then said how his 36th wife, Laura Adams, didn't really work out because they start arguing about the kids and how much money they have to pay us. So now he's finally going to settle on his 37th wife, Kelly Kagan. But Dad said that she was a childhood enemy and that they couldn't just be together and expect her and Dad to just be friends again. But Gary disagrees though and thinks that she would have apologized by now. And I mean, it has been like 30 years since they last met, so who really knows? Anyways, it was after dinner till Gills finally came back to the house. And right when Gary was just about to leave, hey Gills, long time no see, and damn! The only thing that's changed about you about 25 years later is that you've grown like a foot taller and your hair is a bit taller as well. But besides that, it's like you've never changed at all. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering, yes, Gills did shave off his mustache, and yeah, it is as cursed as it looks. Anyways, after a couple of while, we just had our usual nightly routine and everything, and then we just struggled into bed. You know, the usual. Sunday. Well, because of yesterday, Dad's been focusing more on the oven whenever it's cooking something. Hell, Dad hasn't even been talking to us at all because he's too busy focusing on the oven in case it ever catches on fire again. Also, Giles was on a business trip for Dad because Dad's developed the flu and said that he wouldn't be available for the next 1 to 2 days. So that just left Roger to talk about what the biscuit tin he wants. Anyways, after breakfast, Dad suggested me to go to the park with Manny again, but I heard that community service was actually doing work there, so I told him just that. Then he said for me to take a trip to the lemonade stand just below Upper Surrey Street. So, once again, I took Dad's advice and headed out over there with Manny. However, though, the long queue looked like it took forever to actually get your lemonade. So I went down a lower street to meet up with Shrug because I am not going to go out of my way going 500 feet up that steep hill again. However, though, after a while, I noticed this little creek nearby the park. And then I also noticed this little bag nearby as well. Then, Manny had the idea to make a little squishy toy out of a bag by filling it with water. And so I did. But I quickly noticed after filling it up some little holes in the bag. So it didn't really help making the toy and I basically just abandoned the idea afterwards. Then, a couple of minutes later, I saw this guy, and I think this was one of the guys I played football with. And he was actually pretty nice because he got some cones of ice cream from the ice cream truck nearby. So we just ate some ice cream and just chat about life for a few minutes. Then after that, I got Manny a chocolate ice cream in a tub and just went home. And there isn't really much we can do apart from just walk until our legs just fall asleep for no reason. I mean, I live somewhere in Upper Surrey, which means that we have to move upwards and Manny gets tired real easily because his legs are so tiny. So for most of the trip home, I had to carry Manny there. Anyways, when we got home, Dad said that Gauls had finally moved out of the house and had gone to Leisure Towers because now he can finally pay taxes to move into a new house, or in this case, a new room. Then, after that whole speech, we went to church and, you know, the usual stuff. It wasn't too interesting, so I'll just leave it to this drawing for now. Then, after church, we had dinner, and yeah, Dad still wasn't talking to us all because of yesterday's incident. And yeah, it was a while until dinner was finally ready, but not gonna lie, it's not half bad. And it's finally good to have food made out of an oven instead of air fry. I mean, I'm not saying the air fry is bad, it's just that
you eat it every day and you kind of miss the old taste of gas.
Monday. Well, I got woken up first thing in the morning by a knock on the door, and since both Dad and Rodrick were still somehow asleep, I decided to answer the door, and it was Rowley. Hey, Rowley, what brings you here? Like, is it something special or something?
Greg, you're so funny. Don't you remember? You literally invited me here.
Oh, yeah, right, I forgot I even invited Rowley yesterday to my house, but the reason why I invited him over in the first place is because I wanted to tell him something good and proper. Well, Rowley, the reason why I even invited you in the first place is because I reflected on all my past action and realized that I mistreated you a lot. And look, I'm honestly, I'm sorry. I didn't know my actions could hurt you, and this doesn't sound too good, but look, is there any way you can forgive me, Rowley?
Greg, what are you even talking about right now?
So, yeah, that didn't really work out well. I tried to tell him that I was sorry for everything I've done to him, and I'm a bad example for him, but no matter how much I tried, Rowley just didn't understand, and after what seems to be 30 minutes of trying to explain, I just quit trying to prove my point and just played a new Twisted Wizard Infinity update. Also, try carrying a point across the confusing bridge that was Rowley. I decided to let him have the whole turn instead of me. But Rowley actually brought his own controller, so yeah, that was a bust.
Hey, Rowley, you know what? You can have the whole turn today. I'm fine with not playing. Actually, Greg, that's not necessary anymore because I just realized something. I can just bring my controller to your house, and you can bring your controller to my house, and we can still do 2 players.
Oh, that's great. Okay, how about this? Let's play 1v1 right now, okay? Yeah, let's start. Oh, look, Rowley, you're doing so good. Oh, you're beating me. Oh, it looks like I'm losing. Man, that sucks. Oh, that's good. Why is Drake acting so incompetent right now? It's like he's trying to throw a game because I've never seen him lose like this. Did he really get this bad at the game, or is he intentionally trying to lose? But why? Anyways, after a while, I just forgot about the whole situation and just played a new world he added, which was about some gnome wizards and knights and all that. Also, Rowley is still paranoid about getting the epileptic seizures, like what happened a few days ago, which was why Rowley covered his eyes once he had gone alone. And yeah, that definitely increases the chances of getting ran over, but I guess that's his problem and not mine.
Hey, Greg, is a car coming? I can't see.
Anyway, after making sure Rowley actually made it home, because I'm not a monster just let his best friend blind himself and head out the street, I headed back home and I saw that Roger had finally woken up and he was ironing his old clothes. And it's kind of ironic actually. I mean, I remember when he was younger, he used to hate the iron and wouldn't really wear anything that was recently ironed and had to wear this old t-shirt he used to wear. And at his elementary school, they used to bully him all about it. So yeah, Raul, it's not fair. Mom's not ironing my clothes anymore, and she actually expects me to iron it. Hey, your conversation actually reminds me of one time when I got bullied. Yeah, it was in elementary school, I think, and it was because I never wore anything that was ironed. Yeah, I only wore this one t-shirt because it was my favorite t-shirt because I never ironed it. It looked all crumpled and stuff. So everyone made fun of me, calling me Crumpling Rodrick, and yeah. I don't exactly remember the name, but I'm pretty sure it was close to that. Yeah, and it was in mid-conversation as well, so it was kinda awkward. But I thought it was interesting, though. Anyway, back to the present now. Now mom is gone, dad doesn't really care if we look into mom's stuff, just as long as it isn't his as well. So I looked at mom's drawer that she was like super overprotective about before she was arrested, and I found some of my childhood pictures there. You know, not too special. However, though, I was quickly proven wrong as, after a couple more digging, I unexpectedly found Roderick's van keys. And to be honest, I didn't really know what to do since Dad could be mad if I gave him to Roderick. Though it's like a 50-50 chance, really, so it may be worth chances, and I would gain the respect of Roderick and he might finally get off my back. And, if you're wondering, yep, I gave him to Roderick. I mean, it is his van key, so he does deserve it, at least. Thanks again, Craig. I mean, seriously, I've been looking for those keys forever, and, I really appreciate the fact that you actually gave it back to me. So, you know what? You aren't as bad as I thought you were. Anyways, I don't know what Dad will think about this now that Roderick has his van keys again, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind much. I mean, hell, he wasn't even the one who hid them in the first place. It was Mom. Also, Manny wanted to show me something like 5 minutes after, and I was just wondering what it was, and apparently, according to him, it was some sort of journal that he made that was similar to mine, so I was curious. Anyways, Manny looked inside his folder called Do Not Look, and yeah, it took forever to find a journal because it was just filled with folders that progressively got more aggressive as he went through them. But after a while, though, we stumbled to one folder that Manny didn't even make, and it read, Don't You Dare. And since Manny was curious and completely forgot the whole journal situation, he decided to look deeper, and yeah, the stuff we saw did not look child-friendly.
Hey, Jenny, how are you doing? You know, we should spend some alone time together, if you know what I mean.
What show?
Oh, Sheldon, you're right. I should have always been there for you. How about we go to bed together?
Huh? Why are they going to... So, yeah, Manny clicked on one of the videos, and at first we thought it was a family-friendly cartoon, but then that happened, and next thing you know, Manny was freaking out, and I tried to calm him down to no use. And so I told him that it was probably Roderick who put it there, but I told him not to tell Dad about this and just to leave this for the past. But by then, it was already too late. Daddy! Daddy! Why did you put part of my TV? My eyes! Ah! So yeah, and Manny was mentally scarred for the next 10 minutes, and by the time Manny finally calmed down, it was when Dad printed one of the pictures and deleted all the unnecessary files. And I'll just say, when Roger gets back home, he's gonna be in for a surprise for sure. Also, in an attempt to forget what I saw, I spent the next 5 minutes in the bathroom reading some comics about some crazy superhero guy with the power to gain other people's powers around them and stuff, as well as writing and drawing pictures in this journal. But even then, I couldn't forget about that video that I just saw. But eventually I managed to get over it and move on, even though I said I couldn't. And so did Manny. And after that, I went to rallies for like the 17th time this week, but this time for a different reason. Yeah, so apparently crocodiles and sharks can fight tarantulas too. What? No, that's completely nonsensical. Well, that's what they have at Wild Kingdom. Also, I saw those pictures Mom had in her drawer again and wondered if Riley wanted to see memories me and him had together. And when I asked him, he said sure. And so we looked in and we saw when we both went to the Wild Kingdom together for the first time. And
I used to remember the time when me and Raleigh went to that waterfall on top of the theme park, and Rodrick accidentally pushed Raleigh off the waterfall, and he screamed about it like a girl, and it was really funny. Although Raleigh didn't think the same, and we almost got the park shut down if the guardrails weren't there the next time we went, which means we couldn't experience a funny experience of our first meeting there again. Oh yeah, and sorry for the lack of pictures here. There's just so much to say that I completely forgot about them entirely. Anyway, I'm close to finishing that drawing thing for whenever I want to get tired and want to get to sleep at nighttime. And to be honest, it looks pretty good so far. Anyways, once I got back home, Dad was calling Rodrick on the phone because he still wasn't home. And he was saying something about the folder he found on Maddie's computer. Oh yeah, and in case Roger gets trouble for this, I'm not gonna draw any past pictures of it for his and my sake, because to be honest, I still don't remember what I saw. Anyways, I went to the garage to get some batteries because one of Manny's toys ran out of them, and the first thing I see is a little bike that was just there. And to be honest, I didn't really see much point of it just being there, so I moved to the garage and just kept looking. And after a while, I managed to get a stash of batteries in some corner of the garage. The top right one, I think. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering what toy that I needed the batteries for, well, the toy that needed those things anyway was this action walker that I used to have for a piano inside of it. Man, I remember the first time I had an action walker, which was back in playgroup, and for all I remembered, when I was in playgroup, all of my classmates felt like chumps, and I felt like a real living king. Sadly, though, it got taken away from me real quick since Mom quickly found out that it causes problems for children developing how to walk, which is no issue for Manny, which is why I am sure that thing is now gonna be a perfect hand-me-down from me to Manny. And let me tell you, Manny is loving it. And I'm just glad Manny's having the best moment of his life with that thing. And I'm just glad to say that we're actually connected somehow, especially since that was the first thing I owned that wasn't a hand-me-down. Anyways, after watching Mai do whatever for about 2 seconds, I left my room to have a nice, short nap. And after that nap, it was dinner time. However, though, dinner was interrupted when Roger had an announcement where he said on how he need to leave for the sake of his mental health. However, Dad just told him that if he's still in college and can't do any work at all, he isn't going to survive out in the outside world. But then Rodrick said something big, as he said he doesn't have to do them anymore, as he just quit college completely. And yeah, then comes a 6-minute argument, and yeah, in the end of it, Dad just left for a Civil War set in his basement. And I'm sure Rodrick plans on leaving tomorrow because of that. And if it continues, only chaos and downfall will go with it. Alright, I think that's enough drama for today. I better get some sleep. I mean, it hasn't been a while since I've written this, so I'll update tomorrow. Tuesday. Well, I was wrong that I'm leaving tomorrow, but still, I'm sure he'll leave sooner than later. Also, he spent all night thinking about his future relationship with Dad and all that, and each time I try to talk to him about it, he just told me to fuck off and just continue sleeping. However, I finally left him alone when he threatened to beat me up, and he would even break my skull in half, and if that doesn't sound threatening, I don't know what is. Oh my god, I swear to God, Greg, if you don't leave me the alone, I'll break your skull in half. You hear me? However, though, after a couple of seconds, I heard him chuckle, which probably means that it was some sort of prank or something. And you know,
when I say it gets funnier every time, this was not what I meant. The look at his face was priceless. What a moron. Wow, this is the things I get for wanting to check up on my older brother. Maybe Mom was right on hiding his keys, because he's kind of a dick. But luckily, the achievement I got soon after definitely polished my mood.
Greg has won the 5,000 kills achievement!
Nice. Anyways, I played for a few more rounds, but then I quit because of boredom and everything, and just went to Riley's house. Also, when I left, I noticed that Maddie was on the TV, but I'm sure he's fine. Also, once I got there, they were already having lunch, and since Mrs. Jefferson didn't really feel like cooking lunch twice, he just gave me a ham cheese toastie that he made yesterday, cooked it for about a minute or two in the microwave, and then just gave it to me. Anyways, once we finally got finished lunch, I talked about how I just got the 5,000 kill achievement at my house and how Riley should do that too. But Riley just told me that he already got Platinum Trophy during the first update, so there isn't really a point of doing it again. But then I just told him to stop being a wuss and continue playing anyway for the fun of it. And I guess Riley actually agreed with me, and we just played Twisted Wizard Infinity again just for the fun of it. But after a while, I had to go to the bathroom, and that's where I am now, in the bathroom writing in this thing. But then, after like 15 to 20 more rounds of Twisted Wizard Infinity, I decided to see what Manny was up to, so I went home, and Riley wanted to come along as well.
Hey Greg, I want to join you. Just wait a second. I need to ask my parents' permission first.
Just come already, Rowley. I have all day.
Sorry, Greg.
This is non-negotiable, but I'll catch up to you later. Bye! Oh yeah, and if you're wondering, Manny was just fine. He was in the same place as the last time, so that's good. And since I was bored, I just sat down and watched some TV with him until Rowley finally came along, which was like 10 minutes after I sat down, so yeah, he basically took forever. Anyways, I went to Rodrick's room after because he wasn't in it, and I'm sure Rodrick has other problems apart from me and Rowley going in his room and looking through his drawers he doesn't even use anymore. But the best thing I actually found in his drawers anyway were a bunch of loaded diaper badges with each band member's faces on it, which I guess is a big change over magazines with hot girls on them. However, though, after a few more diggity-dig-digs into it, I found this planner for a future home younger Rodrick made, and turns out younger Rodrick and I planned the exact same things in our houses. Rotating restaurants, secret candy stashes, trampoline parks, everything. But I guess it's probably made before a loaded diaper was even an idea, because I would see President Rodrick definitely adding a room for band practice, a room to perform, and all that other band stuff that he does now. Anyways, nothing else was special in this drawer though, which was a bummer. I mean, it really was for sure, but Riley doesn't mind much though. However, though, when I was about to leave the room, I found this random thing just lying on the floor, and I don't know what that thing was gonna be used for, but it kinda looked like my face on some flower petals. He probably used that to laugh at me. Yeah, he probably would. That bitch. Well, I'm starting to run out of ink on this pen, so when I get new ones, because my stash of pens got stolen for whatever reason, I'll start writing this again. But until now... Wait, oh my god! Oh, you don't believe what's right at the door! Today! Oh my god! Mom! Is that you? Mom! Monday. Well, you're probably wondering why it had been such a big time skip all of a sudden, and that's because, to be honest, I forgot all about that journal I had and went on to a new one instead of continuing this one. But whatever, let's get to the chase.
It's my first day as substitute principal at Westmore Middle School, the middle school I used to go to. And that's also where Roland, Rowley's son, goes to. And it's actually his first day as well, at least I think. I don't really remember. And to be honest, the first day was mostly uneventful. Nothing really happened on the first day. Well, the first thing that comes my way is a kid named Mandels Gerson, a kid that just started middle school, submitting ideas for whatever the he wants. And yeah, they were honestly I mean, I couldn't read half the words he wrote, so I just said that he needs to improve his handwriting and see what he wrote instead. So he told me something about improving the food and all that, and straight when he said that, I just knew at a point, and so I agreed to speak to that guy in charge about it. The government. Jimmy Donaldson, mostly. I mean, he's likely to accept anyway, considering he's the first president in years to actually change America for the better good. Anyway, I found this thing under a stack of paperwork. Yeah, I was looking to fill out some slips for hire, and I just found this book just here. So, I just put the other stacks of on a desk and just went off my day. And come on, let's just be honest though, being a main principal is boring because everyone just asks the vice principal Martha everything instead of me. So yeah, less work and more fucking boredom. Whatever. Someone is coming in.
Are you the principal?
Well, I'm your substitute principal, but by all means, yes.
Well, my teacher sent me here.
Okay. Do you mind telling me why?
No, to be honest, I don't really want to.
This is gonna be a long day. It was this kid named Gordon Gonzalez, and the teacher asked him to speak to the principal about what he's done and stuff, and Jesus Christ! It took a while for him to admit, but he eventually did when he fought to get physical, and to be honest, I swear, I would have too if he had kept his mouth shut, that pussy! Listen, kid, I don't have all day. You need to tell me right now, or else things aren't gonna end well.
Okay, I'll tell you. I ripped off a boy's okay?
What the So yeah, I just gave him a week of recess detention and a call of child services because clearly his home life isn't good, and then just let him go. Then I spent the next few minutes laughing my ass off because of how funny his whole situation is. Oh, it is kind of creepy that some kid managed to do that. Then, after what seemed to be only a while, I finally got let go. But before I could go home, I had to go to a meeting, and if you want to get rambled on and argued on by a bunch of stupid who are nothing but more pay, this is just the job for you. Be a principal, they said. You'll get respect and pay, they said. But you fucking liars.
Actually, I deserve more pay. I'm the top student in the whole school.
That's not fair! I have 5 B-level students, and that's like good average.
Well, all of my artists are prodigies, so that's why I should get increased pay, so I can do better for my students.
But then, after a while, I got sick of hearing this, so I just said, if this ever happens again, those will get lower pay. And then, those sensitive quickly changed their minds, letting my opinions finally actually sink into their minds for once. And once they actually listen to me for once in their goddamn life, they actually agree to change the food options the next week. And Jesus Christ, I have to do this for 4 more days! Oh well, at least it's finally over, and oh yeah, since me and Raleigh can't drive and we both live nearby each other, we take the bus together. Oh, and now I'm looking at Rowland and Raleigh together. Roland just looks like a Raleigh Jr. in comparison, and you know, here's a funny fact. Raleigh actually planned on naming him Raleigh Jr. since he looks so much like him, even when as an infant. But his girlfriend, Angie, had other ideas, and it was a
time-consuming experience letting Riley talk shit that wasn't even the context of the conversation, but I guess it's just for the better good, I guess. Anyways, Riley took Roland to get some ice cream while I'm getting home after a while, and I'm writing as I'm walking, and my handwriting looks surprisingly normal. I guess all that handwriting practice were worth it after all, huh? Wait, what? No more pages? Weird. I remember having more. I'm pretty sure all my journals had 217 to exact to all look good in the shelf, but whatever. Looks like this is the end of this journal for now. So I guess it's goodbye, and I do the end joke, but there's no more pages to do that, so bye. And that's Diary Room Kid, Rodrick Rules Again, and finally! That video literally took forever. I released like 5 videos while making it, and then I took another week to get this done, and it's so crazy. But hey, it's finally done, and this is by far the longest Diary Room Kid reading I've ever done, ever. Especially one that was a whole part, not in cuts. And I did this mostly as a celebration to you guys, and also as an experiment to see if you guys like all one videos or parts. But we'll see if this does good. So yeah, I'm really tired. And this is a really good verse. I like this verse. And it's a long-awaited sequel of Manny and Greg's Spectrum. And there's another sequel coming that's gonna return of Journey and another character, the Japanese girl that sends Greg's packages. They're gonna be apparently they're gonna fight each other. I read some of it, but I'm really tired right now. Anyways, hopefully the hopefully next video will be rereading of my first ever Diary Room Kid reading, since it's actually been a whole year. Yep, it's been 1 year of reading Diary Room Kid fanfictions. To celebrate that, I'll be doing a rereading of Wimpy Verse, of all the pages, and as well as the announcement of a new Wimpy Verse thing, because they're working on it. It's a big one. It's crossovers of all Bitcoin LLBs, like Dysfunctional Perspectives, Overflowing, Broken Beyond Repair, everything. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But don't tell anyone I told you that. Secret. I'm just kidding, not secret, but everyone knows about it. Well, yeah, everyone's working on it, and even Edge Guy and other people. Anyways, I'm tired right now. This video took 20 years. That's all for today. I hope you enjoy this reading, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.